What's up, Awesemo fam? Nice to be with you guys again here. We were on yesterday morning covering the early slate. We're on again this morning. I got a new cast of characters alongside me. Mr. DFS Max over on the Twitter spheres. Max, first show together, enjoying it so far. Talking a little golf beforehand. Gundacker, back with you. You have to deal with me for another hour. Goody for you. Max, how's it going over there?
Pretty good. I stayed up a little too late watching MMA, so trying to recover. But any day that's profitable is a good day.
Oh, okay. So profit is good. I found a straggler in the NHL streets last night, so it's a good feeling. It's good to branch out and try other things once in a while, unless that's Indian food, because that's not going to agree with my stomach. Good segue. Gundacker, how's your morning going, my dude?
I'm good. A pair of hot pockets and a bang. We ready.
Okay, there's nowhere else to go but up from this intro. But anywho, we got 10 gamer on the morning slate here going for you guys. So get down to that bottom bar before we get started. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Why wouldn't you do that already? We have such good stuff going on around the clock here: NBA, MLB, NASCAR, MMA, NHL. We have all the sports, all the if it's in the DFS sphere, we've got you covered. So definitely hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can see whenever it's going live. You ready to get going, guys?
Let's do it.
Let's party. All right. We were just talking ahead of time. What is a Will Crow? That's a great start for our first game. We got St. Louis at Pittsburgh. We were kind of taking a look at him before the show as well. But St. Louis minus 128. Pittsburgh looking at this game 8.5 run line. I'm just getting going here too. It's 9 a.m. out here on the West Coast. My brain's just getting started. Got Carlos Martinez. It's crazy to see him up to low 90s pitches here again, coming from his reliever role back into a starting role here this season. Been pitching pretty decently in the last couple, so looking better of late. And then, of course, on the other side of that, Will Crow going up against St. Louis, who's at least starting to get the bats going a little bit. They've got the 4.5 implied run total. Max, what do you kind of see out of these pitchers in this game?
Yeah, don't play them. Crow swinging strike rate. Martinez, low swinging strike rate, 14%, K percentage, which is the lowest on the slate. Like when we remember Carlos Martinez, he used to just throw heat in the bullpen and strike a bunch of guys out. This isn't the same guy anymore. Way too many injuries. So yeah, you can really just stack up the bats in both spots here for me.
It's a good start. Gundacker, you kind of seeing the same thing?
I was saying in my model for home run predictions, Will Crow was breaking it, but it looks like it's due to lack of sample size so far. Just 8 innings last year, 4.2 this year in the bigs. So I did dive back into his 2019 campaign in the minors, which doesn't always translate, especially with a little of a gap. In the minors, he actually looks like he played a little bit more reverse splits, 48.2 innings against righties, a 268 average, and about a 1-1 ground ball air out ratio with 9 homers. 9 homers or 6 homers, and then 2 homers to lefties and 46. So doesn't look like he's as bad to lefties if you give him a little bit more sample size, but that's not like super concrete because it is 2 years back in the minors. So I don't have any aspirations of playing either pitcher, but because of Crow's sample size, like I don't know, maybe the Cardinals lefties might over project. And this is a unique lineup for the Cardinals. Matt Carpenter in the 3 spot. I'm not
unique
too,
is the right word for it.
Yeah, I'm not too enamored with this game at all. But maybe I might allow some of these power lefties from the Cardinals, all one of them, in my player pool.
I was gonna say, it seems like temperatures around the entire league are up a little bit here today. Looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day there. Light wind blowing out to the left field pole. 77 degrees out there, so maybe decent enough hitting conditions. But as you said, kind of an interesting St. Louis Cardinals lineup. You got Dylan Carlson up there in the 2-hole, Matt Carpenter there in the 3-hole. Bader's back in the 2.3K if you really need that on DraftKings. If you like zeros, go ahead and play him on the back end. But anybody that you're kind of looking at, Max, from either side of this game?
Yeah, Tyler O'Neill is probably my favorite guy. Just a lot of power. And Will Crow's given up 42% hard contact right now. I know it's only like 12 batters, but also like more fly balls than ground balls, which is always nice. So yeah, just give me some power guys from the Cardinals to put it with my stacks.
How about you, Gundacker?
Yeah, like I said, if I lean on those minor league numbers from 2019, looks like Crow is very susceptible to righties as well. So maybe Nolan Arenado is just kind of like in front of my face, and I don't want to click him, but he's kind of cheap, 4K, 4,500. I would say cheap, but lower than what we're used to paying for a guy like that. But overall, PNC Park probably not going to be a high priority for my bats. So probably just a couple of one-offs here and there, and they fall where they fall.
Yeah, we got somebody in the chat saying that if you watch Martinez's last two starts, of course his name's Eric. So there you go. I would love to let you know that we can't look at two games there and just say that he's back. But however, I'll let it be known, like, he's going to be low owned. There's always viability to taking a cheap pitcher and possibly just stacking up your bats that way. But let's keep it moving along then. Save a little bit of time here because, again, we've got 9 more games to get to, 7 minutes through the first one. We're making good time. But at this one, we're going to have to take a look at some pitchers because you got one Max Scherzer sitting there. He's been all right. Not his typical self, but still a whip under 1. 3 ERA, looking all right there, but it's really difficult to find somebody that can get to that 100 pitch mark here, and he's done it twice thus far already. 109, 106, which is good to see out of him there. Got beat up in Toronto, but considering they're playing in Tampa in an absolute bandbox, everybody's getting beat up in Toronto, so not thinking too much about that. What do you kind of see in Max, Mr. Max? I might as well start with you.
Yeah, Max looks great today. 15% swinging strike percentage, 32% strikeouts. Looks like the vintage Max Scherzer that we're used to. Yeah, like I'm not too concerned about him giving 2 home runs up to Vladdy Jr. just because he's good at hitting baseballs. Sometimes it'll just happen. So yeah, I mean, load up Max. Just the ownership is the only problem for me. Projected to be 50% owned in our top pitchers tool. That's kind of a lot. I feel like you can pivot to other guys in his range of lower ownership in GPPs. I would probably come in under the field on him just because of that ownership.
Okay, yeah, and as you said, coming around 50% there over on DK, looking like an optimal 2-pitcher percentage. That's 35. I mean, that's one of those things where, eating the chalk isn't the worst thing as long as you're getting contrarian elsewhere. But do you have any other sentiments about that? Obviously, a good play today, no, right, Gundacker?
9,700 is disrespectful.
Yeah.
And even more so, this Marlins lineup is what? Like these are names. I don't know if lock button's dangerous, but 9,700, the opportunity cost is ridiculous for his upside parlayed with this matchup. So definitely gonna be there on Max. Trevor Rogers, interesting, Max. I don't know if you're there. His swing and strike rate just
I love
absolutely ridiculous. And this is a Soto-less lineup. It might be one of those spots at these prices on DraftKings. It'll cost you less than 20 G's to put him in a lineup and maybe scoop and score the win and hope for just a crazy strikeout game.
Yeah, I'm not too scared of anything in that Nationals lineup either. I do like both sides of that for sure. I think both kind of reflecting that a little bit in the ownership here. Is there anything different you might do with one of them on FanDuel? Is there kind of like a priority? I haven't looked over at the FanDuel slate as much here today, but looking at Max Scherzer up there at 12K. Rogers, it's crazy to see him over 10K up there at 10.2. Where are they in terms of like priority for you over there, Max?
Yeah, for me, like 12K is just really price prohibitive for Scherzer, just because I feel like I can get the same kind of upside going lower. So like he's not as much of a priority for me on FanDuel as he is on DraftKings, where you do have to lock in 2 guys. But as Gundacker was saying, I actually love Trevor Rogers even more than Scherzer here.
Nice.
He's half the ownership at 25%. And his swinging strike numbers are absolutely insane. Throws really hard, young kid. You're probably not going to get into like the 100 pitches with him, but do you really need to, like with his upside and getting the strikeouts? That would just be gravy. And yeah, this lineup for the Nats is just not very good without Soto. Robles and Harrison are your first 2 guys. Like that's not very inspiring. So yeah, I love Rogers here.
What are you kind of thinking in terms of bats then too over here, Gundacker? Is there anybody that you'd kind of be looking at? We obviously established we do like both pitchers here in this game. Roof open, wind blowing out a little bit, but is there anybody you might be able to take some shots on? I mean, Ryan Zimmerman, I can't believe in the 4-hole. The guy he's immune to pain and suffering. He's basically Tom Brady out there still playing baseball.
Yeah, if I do grab bats, it's likely going to be a Nats. Trey Turner, probably the top option for me. Yeah. Decent OBP, a lot of power and a lot of speed. So he might, if he gets an errant hit by pitch or a walk, he can turn that into a double. So Trey Turner, probably number one. Zimmerman, historically against a lefty, I can grab some of that. But neither side's giving me much to be inspired about bat-wise. But Trey Turner's easily like my favorite bat out of both teams.
Yeah, Trey Turner, second most ownership for shortstops. I think that's about appropriate. But anything else you want to cover, Max, or should we move along?
Moving along.
Yeah, let's do it. Going to Gundacker's team here. The New York Yankees hosting Detroit, plus 220 for Detroit, 9 for the run total. Looking around here, what can you possibly say? It's the Yankees playing in a short porch in every direction. Not much to be said. I believe, Max, you're a Yankee fan as well, correct?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm surrounded by you guys. This is just. As a Minnesota Twins fan who just gets obliterated by you guys every first round, I just can't even talk to you anymore. But I suppose I have to because we're on a show. So Corey Kluber, I'll break him down a little bit for me. Sitting here, had a great outing last time against Baltimore, up to 96 pitches. Starting to induce a little bit of ground balls again, which is good coming off of that Atlanta game where he started getting knocked around a little bit. But talk to me a little bit about Corey Kluber today.
XFIP of 5.58. That's a little much for me. I don't know. Like, as a Yankee fan, I didn't understand when they went and got him. He's not the clue bot anymore. Guy throws 91, tops out at 91. So you need a big difference between your fastball in order to fool batters. And he just doesn't have that anymore. So yeah, his breaking stuff still induces swinging strikes, 13% swinging strike rate. But as you can tell, with 18% strikeout rate, he can't get that third strike that often just because he leaves too many pitches in the middle of the plate and they get hit. So yeah, I mean, I think people will probably be on him just because he did look pretty good against Baltimore. But the Baltimore lineup is full of these young hitters that are swinging and missing just a little bit more than the average team will. We have him projected at 10% today and also a 10% chance of being a top 2 pitcher on DK. So at 8,100, I think I can just look elsewhere.
How do you feel about that, Gundacker? Also, then Jose Urena on the other side of it. That's a no from me.
Kluber, I think if you just look at that last game, it was a little bit more results orientated. Yeah. The metrics of the game, he was a little bit more lucky than not. Had an 89% left on base percentage and just 6 strikeouts. So a little bit of luck going his way. And so far, the Sierra and XFIP are well above his 4+ ERA. So I'm not really there on Kluber, and he's definitely had some command issues with almost a 13% walk rate. This might be another spot because of a weaker Tigers lineup where he might snake oil some people into a good game, and then next time out, maybe against a tougher matchup, he kind of traps people. But because of the high end options, or really the what I feel like is safer options, I'll probably just be elsewhere and not roster Kluber. Jose Urena, pure contact guy, sub 9% swing and strike rate. This is one of those series the Yankees sorely needed, a beat me up pitching staff. I think the Yankees have the highest run total on the slate, so I'll absolutely be firing them up. Giancarlo Stanton is on one of those locked in streaks that he gets on a couple times a year. I believe he's on like an 8 or 9 game hitting streak. In the last 3 outings for him, he's had 3 hits in each game. Aaron Judge is on fire. So it's a good little spot to heat check the Yankees, and maybe a little bit biased, but I'll definitely be firing them up. They are expensive on DraftKings, but I feel like considering I can get Scherzer under 10K, like it kind of offsets a little bit to where I don't feel like I'm overly stretched thin. So I do like the Yankees bats here. Probably not touching any pitchers, and I don't think I get to Tiger stacks, but I do feel like the opportunity is okay because of the park and the wind blowing out the center. But there's just not much here I want to click on with the high level of confidence.
Yeah, I think correct me if I'm wrong here, Max, but I think if you had a slate where there was like bigger pitchers. So Max Scherzer being under 10K definitely helps the cause of being able to stack up other teams that you want. But I would have interest going to Detroit if you had like two absolute aces in like 11K that you were needing to pay for. I could see that kind of being very viable, but I don't know on this slate if you necessarily need to go there. Am I right with that?
Yeah, like the Cole and Bieber slate that we had earlier in the week. That's when you stack a team like Detroit. That's when it makes sense. I don't mind taking some one-offs just for shots at home runs. Like Gundacker was saying, wind is blowing out. It's about 80 degrees in New York here today. So, yeah, it's not a bad spot for sure, just because Kluber doesn't induce that many swinging strikes anymore. So people are going to make contact. Hopefully it goes far. And the Yankee stack is actually not chalk for once, just because they have been priced up. And you do need to pay up for a little bit of pitching, I guess, today. So they're projected at 9% as being the top stack in our top stack stool, and they have 9% ownership. So I think this is the best leverage score we've had on the Yankees team forever. The problem with Urena is he's a 60% ground ball guy. So there is a chance that Yankees just hit it at people all day and the stack fails. But I like taking the shot at the Yankees here today, especially guys with like these loopy swings that lift the ground balls up and try to hit them all over the fence.
So Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I mean, like Judge actually has like a pretty level swing, but like Stan has a loopy swing. Like Mike Ford aiming at that at the short porch is a pretty loopy swing. I love taking a shot at him at like, what is he, like 3,100, super cheap.
Oh, so stack Yankees. That was great. I love this show. Very, very straightforward. We give you the hard hitting analysis here, letting it be known. Oh, we do have a run. We do have a total now for Atlanta and Toronto. So that's exciting. It just came out here for you. So 10.5. I was expecting something over 10 here, but we're still waiting on the Toronto side of the lineup. I don't think we have that necessarily yet, but moving along to Atlanta and Toronto, we've got Ian Anderson on one side pitching for Atlanta, who's been pretty darn decent enough this year. 1.1 whip, 2.48 ERA, inducing, let's see. Yeah, he's been inducing ground balls at a pretty nice clip, 9 and 11 the last two outings. And then Ross Stripling on the other side, who has not been good. This will be an interesting spot for him going up against just a potent offense. You're seeing Atlanta a little bit of a favorite here on this side too. Don't have that money line out yet, but what are you kind of seeing here? I mean, how many bats are too many bats from Atlanta and Toronto today, Max?
I mean, I love Ian Anderson. I feel like he's going to be the next great pitcher. He has been getting a little bit lucky so far this year. Only 239 BABIP. His ERA is 2.48. His xFIP is 3.04. So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we're expecting from a really good pitcher. 12% swinging strike, 26% strikeouts. The Toronto lineup is really tough, like up and down. Like yesterday, I played Morton against them, and there's just not any spots where you can take a break, really. I guess when Jansen plays catcher, that's really your only spot. The guy's like, what? Like 0 for 35 so far this year, which is bad.
Not good.
No, it's not great. So Ian Anderson is the kind of guy that I would play for leverage on the slate, but I don't think you need him with so many guys and like other guys that we'll get to in better spots at the same kind of ownership. So Ian Anderson, probably a pass for me. Toronto also a pass for me. And then, I mean, the Braves are your chalk today. You're mega chalk. So it's just of how much you want to roster these Braves guys against Stripling, who is like 8% swinging strikes, doesn't really induce strikeouts, a lot of hard contact, especially against Braves righties. So don't sleep on the Braves righties today in a guy that has reverse platoon splits.
Yeah, coming up at a 13.8% in the top stack tool. I'm only team with double digits in terms of reaching it. Right now, not crazy ownership, right around 15%. So you're not getting like that much of a negative leverage score. But again, with 20 teams in play, this ballpark just drives me completely insane because I heard a high school team plays here. Somebody told me that the other day. Is that true?
Yeah, it's like right across the street from a middle school, I think.
And they play high school games there. There was like video that they posted of them playing a high school game there, and it just blew my mind because this is 2021. I think we could find a ballpark to go use. This is maybe a little bit more efficient. But Gundacker, do you have anything else to say about pitching, or specifically we just have that Atlanta lineup looking up and down? How can you not like Acuna, Freeman, Azuna, Albies, Pablo Sandoval? So crazy, another guy who's immune to time apparently.
Yeah, one thing I will note is that this is going to be Stripling's first game back from the IL. It looks like they're going to trade Kirk for Stripling on the transaction. And then yesterday, the Blue Jays bullpen actually got a lot of work. We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 arms throw pitches yesterday. So this might turn into a bullpen game pretty quickly because Stripling's last start, I think he was only like 70 pitches. So almost a month on the IL. He probably is not going to go over what he last threw. So yeah, just spray and pray Braves, and I think we'll be all right. I'm not touching either pitcher.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that here. Let's move along here. We've got Tyler Mahle. He's going to be another talking point. Just why 7,800 over on DraftKings? I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But Trevor Williams on the other side from Pittsburgh coming over. I do like targeting pitchers for the most part. When they switch teams, there's possibly, we saw it with Houston constantly, just maybe a change of environment isn't necessarily the worst thing. Kind of living on a prayer the last couple. He's had 3 decent outings though in a row, Trevor Williams has, but Tyler Mahle really kind of the guy to have a little bit of a discussion about, considering he's garnering quite a bit of ownership, right around 30% over on DraftKings. We've got him in the top 2% of pitchers, half of that. So yeah, he's going to be chalky, but are you willing to go there still, Max?
Yeah, absolutely. I really feel like DK pricing this year, they just have like a dartboard at the office. And they're like, all right, Tyler Mahle. And they throw a dart. It's like, oh, 7,800 works.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, I mean, he should be in the Scherzer price range, somewhere around 9K-ish. So you're getting a big discount, which reflects in the ownership. Yeah, this Cubbies lineup is a little bit watered down today. Like Matt Duffy hitting 5th, then Hayward, Horner, and Walters. Does not inspire a lot of confidence. Just some stats on Mahle: 13% swinging strike, 35% K percentage is really, really good. Getting a little bit lucky this year, but I don't know if it's going to turn around against this watered down Cubbies lineup, like I said. So yeah, for me, I'm willing to eat the chalk on Mahle a little bit more so than I'm willing to eat the chalk on Scherzer, just because he's 2K cheaper.
Yeah, and seeing 27.2% K percentage here for the Cubs, it's 3rd worst in the entire MLB. That's kind of a helpful little fact to have going in Mahle's column as well. Obviously, an ISO that can get up there, and we know the kind of damage they can do with the long ball, but keeps the ball in the park. I think there's a lot of Ks, a lot of scoring that can be there for him. Gundacker, do you have any different feelings about him, or any thoughts on Trevor Williams too?
The only thing with Mahle that scares me is I do feel like if you just look at the last 3 years, you feel like regression's coming. But I think the price is like 8K. Like I'd almost be okay with 18 DKP in like a average scenario. So I just think the price is too low for me to avoid. The park will be interesting. This is since the beginning of last year the second best park for home runs. Mahle does have a home run bugaboo, particularly against righties, especially so far this season. But the 8K, I just think he can erase a couple of solo shots with some strikeouts. To run it back, though, I probably will be there on some Reds bats with Trevor Williams, another guy that I kind of expect a little regression in terms of Sierra and XFIP. He's another one that can let some baseballs fly this year, last year, the year prior, well over a 1 homer per 9 to righties. And he hasn't let one up against a lefty yet this season, but it looks like that a little bit more lucky than anything with a high line drive rate, high average allowed. So I'll be there on some Reds, on the Reds stack. Probably not going to pitch Williams. We'll play Mahle. I want to, I brought up how this park is such a plus spot for hitters. Like I want to play Cubs just to stack the park, but this lineup is a little funky today. Like Javi Baez in the 3 spot. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, it's good to have Winker back in the lineup here for the Reds at the top of it, too. He had yesterday off. I'm not sure. I thought he got dinged up for whatever reason. But, yeah, he's apparently good to go. He's leading off again here tonight. He's been out of his absolute mind. Also, it's not tonight. It's this afternoon. Whatever. Continuing on, Max, anybody for the Cubbies or the Reds that really kind of stick out to you bat-wise that you want to be targeting? Obviously, Great American Ballpark, a great spot to be targeting hitting.
Yeah, I mean, Gundacker mentioned how lucky Trevor Williams has been against lefties. 5.35 xFIP, but hasn't given up a home run. So you can definitely stack up some lefties here. Winker, even Votto's hitting for more power this year. Moose has always hit for power.
5.3K on DraftKings for Joey Votto.
Yeah. I mean, but that'll be contrarian. Come on now.
It's true. That's true.
So yeah, I don't mind a red stack here at all. Trevor Williams just like another reclamation project from the Pirates that we always see do better elsewhere because the Pirates just can't, tell their pitchers where to throw the ball apparently. So yeah, I don't mind a stack here. From the Cubbies, I probably would take like a guy like Rizzo, or even a Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant has had insane stats this year as far as StatCast goes. The guy is just hitting the ball on the screws every time. So maybe a guy like that is a good play against Chalky Molly.
Love it. Moving along, Houston, Tampa Bay. Before we get there, make sure you guys are checking out. If you miss any of our content here at Awesemo, just check out the Awesemo Podcast Network. We've got a podcast for every sport that's available on every major platform. So head over there and check out anything that we have going there. Leave a 5-star review underneath it too on any of our podcasts and leave your Twitter handle or your email address, and you'll be eligible to win a free week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. We got one winner will be awarded every Friday as we check the reviews, and it'll be eligible to win for up to 1 year. So good luck with that. Make sure you give us the like and subscribe on all of these shows too, down in that bottom bar. It goes a long way for us. And then hit that notification bell too if you haven't already, so you know when this goes live. Moving our way along to Houston at Tampa Bay. So if you're going to be a little bit lower on Max Scherzer, one Christian Javier at 9,400 is actually coming out with some nice leverage in the top pitchers tool, coming in a rate around 20.7% of the time as a top 2 pitcher, with ownership at around 16%. He's just been so good this year so far. Gundacker, what are you kind of seeing out of Christian Javier that's really standing out for you?
An increase in swing and strike rate going from 8.4% last year to almost 13% this year. That will help just about any pitcher. Has continued to keep that whip low. The other metrics, the hard contact to both sides of the plate is pretty similar to what we've seen last year. We've just seen the increase in swing and strike rate, which naturally will increase strikeout propensity. Sierra and xFIP has improved this year, 308, Sierra 335 xFIP. So definitely a guy that has some upside. I will say his upside seems to project better against righties with a 30+% K rate to righties last 2 years. And it does drop significantly, almost 10% collectively against lefties. And the Rays are going to throw out a pretty lefty heavy lineup, just 2 righties in that lineup. And the split also calls for higher line drive rates and higher fly ball rates to lefties, considering his ground ball percentage. So maybe not as great of a spot as the initial swing and strike rate would suggest because of how lefty heavy the Rays are. But at the same time, the Rays have just not been that great to this season, and they do have a lot more strikeout ability in that lineup than a lot of people might think. I mean, Rays last couple seasons have been a little bit more of a pesky team, but I've got several guys in this lineup with high 20 K rates. So I definitely think it's crazy to roster Javier, but I don't think we're maximizing his strikeout potential considering the platoon disadvantage.
How about for you? I mean, that's fantastic. Anything for you, Max, that sticks out with Javier? Is that somebody that you'd be interested in pivoting off Scherzer to? So
this was my Scherzer pivot. The platoon splits are concerning. He's also been getting pretty lucky versus lefties this year. 4.02 xFIP. 0 home runs given up. The problem is that, like you were saying, it's hot everywhere and good hitting weather everywhere, except for Tampa, because they're playing in a dome and in a park that limits home runs. So this is really, I feel like, a good spot for him. And when you look at the Tampa lineup, they're trying to roll out as many lefties as possible in here, quite obvious. But that also means that they have to play like Kevin Kiermaier in the 5th spot, which isn't great. I think there's still strikeout upside. Do I expect Javier to be as lights out as he has been so far this year? No. But when I am seeing 15% ownership and 20% being our top pitcher, a top 2 pitcher tool. So like when you get a leverage score like that, I just love the fact that I can get some leverage on a Scherzer or even the guys a little bit lower like Giolito.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay, 26.4% K percentage. It's 7th best in terms of somebody you'd be wanting to target there.
Yeah.
So I think that there are definitely some Ks to be had. As you said, getting Kiermaier in there, he's not good. He can hit an occasional long ball in the playoffs, apparently, but outside of that, not a guy that I'm necessarily looking to do to target. Let's talk a little bit about Houston, because I think that that's a stack that's going to kind of stick out for me a little bit. Right now, you're getting a tiny bit of positive leverage. It's pretty spread out. You have 20 teams on this slate, but a tiny bit of leverage. Basically, I like targeting a team with a bunch of power that's starting to get healthier here. And being able to not have them be crazy chalk by any means, because it's a bad ballpark. But kind of a strange thing that they have going here. Rich Hill is listed on DraftKings as the starter, but then they have Michael Wacha that's going to be coming in and relieving him at some point as the long reliever. But Rich Hill just got done having an outing of 93 pitches. So isn't like Michael Wacha just a straight out reliever at this point? Max, anybody. Sorry, I am apologize. I was so confused by it in general, because I'm like, it's just a regular starter followed by a regular reliever in this scenario.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe DK messed something up, because this makes zero sense.
Yeah, I thank you for listing Michael Wacha there, though. But it was just so extremely confusing, and the dead air between us was kind of what solidified that for me. But Michael Wacha, a guy who's also given up some homers to righties here going through, and now this Houston lineup, I do like going to like Altuve, Brantley, Jordan Alvarez. I'll be playing every single day that he's under 5K, because that feels like a gift from God. But anybody that really sticks out to you from the Houston or Tampa Bay side, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Astros team. I just don't like the park, really. And we just have so many good hitting spots today. I don't know how much I'm going to get to them. Rich Hill is always good for a couple home runs given up, but they're usually solo shots. Like, he's been so unlucky to start the year. What is he, like 7.25 ERA and only 3.8 xFIP? He's not striking guys out anymore, only an 8% swinging strike rate. Astros don't really strike out anyway. So, yeah, the lineup is great for the Astros. The spot isn't great for me. So I don't know how many Astro stacks I'm going to get.
How about you, Gundacker? Any interest in taking a shot in this crappy ballpark that nobody attends?
I'd say yes for power hunting. Like Bregman, I think it's a really interesting play here, because Rich Hill will allow some homers to righties. Bregman has historically been great against lefties. And if Michael Wacha is coming in behind Rich Hill, he's a reverse splits power guy. He allows a lot of power to righties as well. So could double down on these righties for the Astros, getting that platoon advantage to start, and especially a guy like Bregman. And then Wacha can come in and build on that potential power upside as well. So I can get to some of these Astros.
All right, 4 games left here. Before we get over there, also check out Awesemo Plus tools and content. It's $29.95 right now for a weekly pass of Awesemo Plus. This includes access to all of our premium tools. And I'm telling you, whether it's the top stacks tool, the top pitcher tool, there's just so much stuff in the MLB streets that's created here by all the guys behind the scenes, developed by Awesemo, like Alex Baker himself. All of the goodies are only $15.95 if you just want the MLB stuff, but $29.95 for a weekly pass. It gives you all the sports. NBA is still kicking. I'll be on the NBA Live Before Lock show here later today. We have so much stuff with the Boom Bust tool over there that's just been rocking. It is so important this time of year to be getting leverage in the NBA, and then to be getting leverage in MLB as well, just to be able to know which stacks are going to be super popular on the slate, knowing which directions you can kind of go and stop guessing and start winning. Let's jump on over our next game. I keep saying jump on over between each one. You can't jump to every single game, but I suppose we are. Julio Urias sitting there for the Dodgers, who I don't know. That Dustin May injury did not look good. It is not going to be an enjoyable thing if he's going to be out here for a while. Dodgers already starting to backpedal a little bit. Yesterday, I didn't even see what happened in that game, but it looked like it exploded Twitter there. I just didn't care enough to find out exactly what went down for that call. But Julio Urias, 9K up there up top. The postseason hero himself had an absolute massive outing against Seattle, but that was Seattle and not Milwaukee. However, Milwaukee, we do know, has some strikeouts as well. On the other side of it, Alec Bettinger, it's kind of strange to see a 4K pitcher that I really don't know anything about. So what do you know about him, Max?
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that's was on the alternate training side coming back. It does seem like he has some strikeout upside, at least in the minors. He was in Double-A in 2019, struck out more than a batter an inning. I mean, it's the Dodgers. Like, you're not going to play a 4K pitcher against them. So it's just a matter of, do you want to stack the Dodgers in the spot? And I think the answer for me is yes. Like their ownership share is only coming in at 12%, and they're projected to be our second best stack of the day at 9%. So I think you can really get to some Dodgers batters here. It looks like they're going to have the roof open in Milwaukee, which means that there's going to be a little bit more of home run upside. 75 degrees, it's warm. I really like the Dodgers here. I feel like people are going to be more so on Atlanta and even the Yankees than the Dodgers.
And I think also just stack the Dodgers and the Blue Jays up, considering we don't even have those lineups here yet. That's
the Dodgers lineup
probably
did
a way
come out.
to. Do you? I mean, that's. Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it come through here. Oh, there we go. Betts, Seager, Turner, Will Smith, Chris Taylor, Beatty, Pollock, Gavin Lux. Okay, so that's basically the A team there going up against Bettinger. Gundacker, what's sticking out for you between these two pitchers?
I just remember before we went live, you said maybe Max Muncy won't suck today. He's definitely going to pinch hit. He's going to pinch hit Homer. I guarantee it.
He's just destroying me in a year-long league, and it's very, very bitter. And it's not even like, okay, so as DFS guys, we try not to get in too many year-long leagues because you just devote so much time to it and so much energy. But I really hate like 3 guys in this league. And so I need to beat them very badly. And Max Muncy, it's not meeting ADP, that's for sure. But anywho, we're back. Alec Bettinger, Julio Urias, anything stick out for you, Gundacker?
Yeah, no, I'm just betting on talent here with the Dodgers. Looking at Bettinger's minor league stuff, 146 innings in 2019, 157 Ks. It's a AA sample size. So I guess it's going to be one of those guys that make that giant leap from AA to the bigs. And, hey, good luck. It's the Dodgers. So I'm willing to just have Dodgers by principle there. Urias might be asked to go a little bit longer than usual because of what happened yesterday. So maybe you can add a couple pitches or maybe not expect Dave Roberts to go full Dave Roberts as quick. I might get to a couple shares of Urias, but probably not going to take my chances on Bettinger. A different slate, a smaller slate. Maybe I'll take that's cheaper than a lot of bats we're going to play today at 4K, but I just wish it was against anybody but the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think that probably is true. But if you were to somehow need to go to 4K, I just don't think you need to on this slate whatsoever. It's not a Coors slate, although you do have that Toronto game, which is basically a glorified Coors here at this point in time, but not too cost prohibitive to go elsewhere. Who kind of sticks out for you maybe from the Milwaukee side too, Max? Anybody that really you'd be wanting to take some shots on? I mean, Yelich on the IL, Kane on the IL, Peterson now on the IL. Travis Shaw's been hitting for power here. Nice to see a little resurgence from him. I thought he was basically broken. Comes back to Milwaukee. He's been decently good this year. But up against a lefty, that's not going to be a spot to go to probably, right?
Yeah, he's not even in the lineup. They just
Oh, there we go. I didn't even see the lineup there either. Okay.
The lineup here just looks so bad.
Nottingham in the
worst lineup. Yeah,
this is the Sunday special.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, Avi Garcia, I guess, if I had to pick one.
I mean, does this make you like Julio Urias a little bit more today?
Yeah, I mean, only 11% projected ownership. Another pivot off of like Scherzer here. I mean, Gundacker was, I think, right on the money. Usually they take him out after like 90 pitches. Maybe he goes a little bit longer. Has really good underlying stuff, 13% swinging strike, 26% strikeouts. And this lineup was like a AAA lineup. It's so bad.
Yeah, Tyrone Taylor in the 2-hole. Avisel Garcia, who's been back for, 2 games now here? Or a little bit. He's been back for a little bit, but my goodness, that is not pretty to look at here. Let's move along. Actually, before we get to anything else, there's one El Negro Loco, the news god in the chat, needs to know from Max and from Gundacker, who is your FanDuel cash pitcher? The guy is grinding some cash here on a Sunday morning. He needs to have the goods. Who are you going to play? If you had to play one guy, I guess my pick would be Max Scherzer because, 12K, maybe I wouldn't want to do it necessarily in a tournament, or if I were to go down there a little bit further, there's so many good options, but the security of Scherzer feels like something maybe to get. Trevor Rogers down there, we had talked about a little bit at 10-2. Who sticks out for you as your FanDuel cash pitcher?
For me, it's probably Giolito, actually.
Ooh, okay.
The Cleveland lineup is not as intimidating without Franmil I think he's having a baby, or his wife is having a baby. So he's not in the lineup.
I was going to say, you probably can't take too much credit for that. I don't think he's pushing, but
I think you're getting a
ahead.
little bit of a discount there.
Okay, Gundacker, how about for you?
Yeah, so if I'm trying to build a high floor there, Max, but I will say at 12K, at that price, I do like to feel a little bit better about the win. And because Taylor Rogers and because that lineup doesn't have Soto, maybe you can't bank on the win. But I do like Max's potential because that Marlins lineup does not look great. But at 12K, you also might have to pinch some pennies on some bets. But that's where Joey Votto becomes a much better play on FanDuel versus a DK price point. So yeah, Max probably for safety. And then if I wanted to stretch back, I think Giolito. And I'm somewhat intrigued with Urias for now more than ever, but I'm somewhat intrigued with Urias just because of that lineup, and he's a little bit cheaper, a sub just under 10K.
All right, so we got Giolito, Urias, and we also got the bonus of Joey Votto. So there you go, News God. You're all set to go. Go smash in the FanDuel streets for sure. Speaking of Giolito, we're going to jump over to this next game, Cleveland and the White Sox. Right now it's where is it at here? Plus 147 for Cleveland. The White Sox for in this game, 8.5 run total. What are you kind of looking at from Giolito that really sticks out to you, Max?
Just this lineup is so not what we're expecting from Cleveland. Like you have Bowers, who's basically a strikeout, walking strikeout. Ahmed Rosario is hitting in the 6th spot. Josh Naylor's in the 5 spot. Like these aren't the guys that we're used to. You know, with Cleveland last year, like we had Lindor. I mean, Jose Ramirez is still really good. But yeah, like Franmil Reyes just makes this lineup so dangerous. He's probably at this point like a top 15 hitter in the league, and him being out just makes such a big difference. And Giolito's run so bad this year, 6.3 ERA, but only a 3.28 xFIP. Still great strikeout stuff, 13% swinging strikes, 28% strikeout rate. I really love the spot for Giolito. You're getting a 1K discount from Scherzer, which is another really nice spot.
And it got the train approval. Normally it's like a dog barking and it gets me certified. This is the train. We are on the Giolito train today. Pull the whistle. Gundacker, how do you feel about Giolito?
I much like Scherzer, like he's too cheap. Like he's a much better pitcher than 8,600. He has a no on his name lately. Like what? And this Indians lineup definitely has a top heavy low strikeout rate, but Giolito is one of those pitchers that actually gets even more strikeouts against the left-handed side of the plate. So 30+% K rate last 3 years against lefties. He can offset some of these under 20% K rates on the Indian side. But like it's not even like I feel like I have to play him instead of Max. I could play him and Max for under 20. That's a little bit. It's almost too good to be true, and it probably will be because hashtag DFS. But 8,600 is far too cheap for who he is.
Yeah, he had that outing against Boston where he got shelled. I was obviously playing him then. And then Detroit, he goes for 114 pitches. So there's DFS in a nutshell for you too. But I guess that's also against Detroit. But this is basically that Cleveland lineup. I mean, is there anybody you'd even want to like take a shot on against Giolito? I don't see anybody. I mean, 2K, Daniel Johnson in the 2-hole. I don't think you really even need to do that today, right, Max?
Yeah, you just don't have to. Like, there's such better spots with like really low priced guys against just crap pitchers. So why would you want to play somebody against the Lucas Giolito?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, that's just that's exactly what it is. So let's look at the White Sox side, Gundacker. Tim Anderson, Luis Robert now in the 2-hole. That's fun to see. Absolutely love his talent, love his pedigree. Jake Lamb in the 5-hole, not very enjoyable to me, that's for sure. But enough power up and down this lineup that I think that top half of the order definitely looks intriguing.
Yeah, I didn't know Jake Lamb was on the White Sox.
He's outfield eligible. He's been in like the 7-hole for the last like week or whatever.
Don't admit that, Gundacker.
Well, no, not only that, but 0 homers, 0 RBIs, has done nothing. He basically only goes out there, plays the back end of the order against a righty. But basically today, I don't even know what's going on against Plesac. I mean, why do you put him in the 5-hole ever?
I definitely like Tim Anderson as the leadoff guy, a little bit of speed, kind of a pivot in I'm going to say a pivot, but it's kind of like that Trey Turner role, give you some power and some speed. Great hit for average, usually going to contend for that hitting title. Lewis Robert, another guy that can swipe some bags. There is some speed at the top of his lineup. But it does kind of fall off a cliff here in terms of warm and fuzzies. I think it's like 1 through 4. And then the aforementioned Jake Lamb just kind of takes us to aim for the bushes, and we take a leap of faith down here. So I like 1 through 4. And that's probably it. And then maybe here and there, some errant shots on like a Jose Ramirez for that pop and bag swipe potential. But that's kind of where I'm starting and finishing.
Yeah, Zach Collins, 613 at OPS. I guess if you had to put him in as a catcher, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the entire world. But as you said, I think that top half just looks so much better. Maybe a 4-3-1 over on DraftKings. That would be a nifty way to go and make them your 3. But anything else from this game for you, Max? Anything else you want to cover that really sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Vaughn is going to hit a bunch of home runs eventually. The guy is too good. 2.6K. You can add him to your 1 through 4 stack.
Love that too. Okay. I was just kind of trying to figure out another piece or two to kind of add to it. As I'm standing here, hand building as we're going here. We've got 13 minutes up until lock. This is going really well for me. I'm crushing. I feel great about it. Jose Barrios, I don't feel so great about all the time as a Twins fan, but going up against Kansas City here today, looking at plus 172 for KC, 8.5 run total there. Just seems as though he always kind of the Ks are just never there for Barrios in the way that I think people think they are. I think that's kind of expressed in the last 3 where hasn't exceeded 5 Ks in a single one, kind of living on a prayer as well. Going up against Brad Keller on a nice yesterday it was 85 degrees over in Minnesota. Today it's down to 70, but still normally better hitting conditions than what is generally there. A little bit of wind blowing in from left, though. Maybe that's a little prohibitive, but the 5 implied run total definitely shows you that there is some pop that exists in this Twins lineup, especially when you add Kirilloff as a lefty going up there. But talk to me a little bit about Barrios, Max. Let me know if there's any shots that you'd be willing to take on him against KC.
See, the problem is I don't think you need to. This is a guy that came out with that crazy curveball, right? And like people just learn to lay off of it. So that's why his swinging strike rate is 10%. He just doesn't have another swing and miss pitch, really. His fastball's still good, but I just, for me, like 8.5K, there's so many other guys in this spot. And this isn't the Kansas City lineup that we're used to. You know, they added a bunch of pieces in the offseason. Carlos Santana is a good hitter. Doesn't strike out much. Benintendi, good hitter, doesn't strike out much. They're just really dangerous 1 through 6 now. And with Merrifield, like there's just not a lot of strikeouts in this lineup for Barrios. So he would be a low priority for me. That's about it. I mean, Brad Keller on the other side is a guy that used to throw ground balls, but now he just throws meatballs and should probably get smoked by these Twins.
God, I hope so. It's about time. and we're getting positive leverage on them too. So Minnesota getting a little bit of positive leverage. It's definitely a place where a team that just tees off on people and does a lot of their damage with the long ball. And with one Lord and Savior Byron Buxton, who is now back in the 3 hole where I like to see him. That's going to be awfully nifty. Gundacker, anything else from this game that really sticks out to you? We want to jump to the bat side. Like I think Barrios, I think we've established isn't necessarily the highest upside pitcher today.
So the thing is, I like Barrios as a pitcher, but I don't have to like the 8,500 price point is too close to Giolito for me to even like. If Giolito was normally like 9-10K here, I'd be like, yeah, Barrios maybe chipping a chair 8.5, but I don't feel compelled and I don't feel like I have to, so I probably don't. But I like the Twins bats quite a bit. Royals are. This series seems like they're taking turns bashing each other. Yesterday was a Royal, so cue up the Twins. Byron Buxton, Nelly Cruz, and Alex Kirilloff might be the nastiest 3-4-5 in baseball right now. And then I can run it back here with the guy like Merrifield, a little pop, little bag swipage propensity, but I'm all in, not all in, but I'm there on the Twin stacks. And I think this game could get a little higher scoring. Like the Royals run total is just 3.5, and I might be compelled to expect a little bit more than that. Dean.
And also I apologize for this, Gundacker, because it's a super chat, and so I must do it. But here, there it is. That wasn't a very good one.
No, that's like a donkey mating call, bro. Let's try that again. What the freak was that? It's okay. Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm not good. It's not good. This is why you don't steal bits from other people. But Adine, I had to appreciate the super chat, my guy. Much appreciated. Oh God, we have one more game to get to. Then we should have a little bit of time for questions. Also, Fantasy Cruncher, we don't have anything to do with them in terms of them being down here at the moment. Trying to get a hold of the support here, see if they can do anything to get that popping up here again. Obviously, an important characteristic. So just bear with us here. Hopefully, we can get that fixed in the next couple minutes. Also, apologize for everybody. That was the worst year of all time. But we have Boston and Texas. Nice little nightcap. It's 11:35. It's just the latest start time out here on the West Coast. So 2:25 Eastern time start time. Boston minus 125, 9 run total here in this game. Garrett Richards on one side of the mound, coming off of an absolute I don't know. Maybe the Mets are just the worst team ever. But 10 Ks. 33.6 DraftKings points is just like a big outing. I don't know if we necessarily want to be going there with Texas, but there's definitely strikeouts to be had in this lineup. Talk to me a little bit about Garrett Richards, Max.
Yeah, I just feel like he ran insanely well against the Mets. Only a 10.9% swinging strike rate should not translate to 10 strikeouts. What was it, 7 innings? Yeah, especially against a Mets team that really doesn't project to strike out much. I don't know. To me, maybe he's going to come in over-owned. His xFIP is 4.79. The roof is open here. The wind's blowing out. And Texas isn't as bad as we have all expected them to be. Yes, they strike out. But Richards also gives up a ton of hard contact, and Texas hits the ball hard. 32% fly ball rate for Richards. Texas can definitely get some balls in the air here. Richards is projecting in our top pitcher tool only at 2% ownership. So I guess you can go there hunting for some strikeout upside, but for me, I'm just going to avoid it. Take a Rodgers instead, and maybe get some one-ups from this Texas team.
How do you feel about that, Gundacker? Any shots you'd want to take on him, or God forbid if you like Mike Fultonavich today?
No, I think pitching is we're getting some pretty bargain bin pitching at high ceiling potential. I just want to I fade Martin Perez against the Rangers, and he goes off and turns into Kershaw. So I load up on Erod yesterday, and he gets smacked around. I don't know what to expect from the Rangers day to day, but I'm not gonna get to the pitching here.
Yeah, the Erod tilt is so real. It has been for years. I've never enjoyed it. But this Boston side, minus 125 favorites here. A lot of that has to do with the fact that these bats can come alive. And Kiki at the top of the order, Verdugo now 2-hole, JD and Bogart's been hitting like crazy. What are you kind of looking at from the Boston side, Max?
So Boston was originally my favorite stack when I first took a look at the slate. But now that I look at it, Fulty's actually been really good versus righties. 2.82 xFIP, obviously small sample size, only 62 batters, but too many ground balls, 46% ground balls, not really giving up too much hard contact, 34%. So it's hard to stack up this team when you really have to stack JD and Bogarts if you're going to stack up Boston just for the upside. So I think there are better spots. I really love Devers here in the spot, because Fulty is giving it up to lefties much more so than righties this year. So guys like Verdugo, Devers, that's where I would go in the spot with Boston, just as one-offs to build with your other stacks.
Oh, Franchi in the 8-hole too. Come on now.
Yeah.
No, he's just terrible. That's kind of a joke, but now he's definitely going to double dong out of the 8-hole. Good for me. Texas side, anybody stick out for you, Gundacker, here? And then we'll open up for a couple questions if you guys have it. We have 5 minutes here. I can't believe the time we made getting through 10 games.
Yeah, Garrett Richards has let homers fly against lefties. So Nate Lowe, Joey Gallo, chip in a chair for those guys to send one over the wall. That's probably some shots at those lefties. And I guess Nick Solak is just on the power surge this year that maybe he hits the one-off candidacy on FanDuel at 3,200. I don't know if I get 5K for Solak today, but those are a couple names I'd be interested in. I don't really want to get to that bottom half.
All righty. So the one Butthole Jenkins, our guy in the chat, that's always fun to say. He's asking, he demands that we have dong picks. So I'm going to throw out my dong pick on the front end. I don't think this will surprise anybody. I am an absolute homer. I just fine with it. But Byron Buxton is going to get back to his absolute homer ways. He hasn't homered for 2 games. That's too long for Byron Buxton. It's time for him to go yard. Just absolutely out of his mind this season. 1.307 OPS, 408 average. Just absolutely love him today. 6,100. That's going to be a contrarian spend up if you're getting up to him there. Put him in your stack. Put him as a one-off. Play him anywhere. But Gundacker, what is the bomb detector telling you today?
So the highest non-Cardinal is Rafael Devers.
Ooh, I like that. And lefty, as we just got done talking about that, that's a good guy to be targeting Fulte with. And Max, how about for you? What's your dong pick today?
I'm going with your team. Alex Kirilloff is absolutely smashing the ball. 28% barrel percentage so far this year, which is tops in the league. And if you think that like this is lucky, no, because his exit velocity is also like top 5 at 95.9 miles per hour. The guy's projecting to be an absolute beast, and this is a great spot versus Keller.
60 out of 60 power score. I mean, like what in the world, Alex Kirilloff? You're incredible. The bomb squad just getting deeper and deeper by the day. It's a beautiful thing. How about a top? Let's do this. So somebody wanted to get favorite stacks. How about we do this? Give us your favorite. So we've established pretty much everybody's, like Max Scherzer, it's hard to go wrong with. Trevor Rogers, I think we all kind of like. Give me one contrarian pitcher and one contrarian stack that you're on today, Gundacker. Just one contrarian pitcher and one contrarian stack.
Contrarian pitcher. I feel like Barrios and Urias are not getting the love from us that maybe they could have because of some of the competition on the slate. And contrarian stack, the Cubs, man. That park could play a factor here, and you might expect some regression from these Tyler Mahle numbers so far. So I do think they're in a super plus. They're probably the best park at that ownership, meaning very low ownership. So yeah, I'll go with the Cubs as a contrarian stack.
Yep, play both sides of it. I definitely like that approach. What are you kind of thinking today, Max? One contrarian pitcher, one contrarian stack.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with Christian Javier, even though he's facing a million lefties in Tampa, just because of the park and the strikeout upside there. And then the stack, I'll have to go against my Yankees with their signing that I hated of Kluber. I think Detroit can get some home runs here in a park that plays super small with the wind blowing out and it being warm out.
All right. Well, that's pretty much going to do it for us today. Gundacker, any plugs for the people?
Plugs?
Any plugs you got? Anything that you got going in your life? I know you've been hanging out in the YouTube streets. You're a busy guy. You're grinding NBA, MLB.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can
I don't
catch
like to self-promote, but Twitter. I guess we'll go Twitter. I don't like to self-promote.
Yeah, so at Gundacker over on Twitter, at DFS Max. He's cheering for Max Homa today, I'm pretty sure, I think is what we've established, right? So hopefully he can get the job done. But otherwise, FC's back up, everybody. Hopefully you can get in there, build a couple lineups, and get to work on that. But with that, I'm Eric Lindquist. That's Max. That's Gundacker. Great job breaking down everything today. We will catch you back here we've got the NBA Deeper Dive coming up with Aiton, I believe, leading the show along with Terry McBride. And then myself and Jason Floyd. We'll be breaking everything down here for the NBA Live Before Lock show this afternoon. Definitely check that out. But otherwise, best of luck, and we'll see you later.